Prime, the unity of the ANC is unraveling as the pre-Newzroom factions within the governing party are re-emerging, with party leaders taking each other in public. President Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership has been called into question by senior party leaders like his predecessor Jacob Zuma and NEC member Tony Ngeni. But the president is forging ahead with his anti-corruption campaign, which has pitted him against some leaders within the party. Tonight, to explore these issues and also ask the crucial question, will Ramaphosa survive this? And what will it take for the ANC to mend its ways? And joining us now is political analyst Omry Makgoale. Good evening. Thank you so much for your time tonight. The president has, said that he's going to subject himself to the ANC's Integrity Commission. Is that a good move?
Yes, I think it's a good move. He must lead by example, show that the Integrity Commission is trusted by us as members, and he as the president is also trusting it. So I think it's a good thing that he's going to put himself to the Integrity Commission.
And this is the same Integrity Commission that some have been crying about, saying that its recommendations have really been ignored over the years. What confidence do we have this time that it will work?
Yes, it is true that it has been ignored over the years since it was established a few years ago. And because the ANC is terribly corrupt inside, so most of the leaders who are supposed to implement or follow this integrity have been defying it. And this is why it has not been respected so much, because it has been defied. It has been defied. But I think if President Ramaphosa goes to the Integrity Committee, he respects it, and he follows the instruction of the Integrity Committee, then everybody must now follow his example.
And when we talk about following his example and, of course, what has been happening, we really cannot ignore the fact that the CR17 campaign is always going to haunt him, particularly how, some continue to say that he needs to really unseal those documents so that he becomes transparent with who was funding his campaign to become ANC president. How important is transparency going to be right now, particularly on that issue on his part?
Yeah, it's very important to be transparent. But, when you talk of transparency, you don't talk of one individual. There were 7 candidates for the 2017 conference. Now, when you talk of transparency, we need all those files of those other candidates to be placed on the table so that we can see who was sponsoring them. We don't want to, scrutinize one individual. The point is, if you want openness, demand it from everybody. And there were 7 candidates. He's just one of them. So put all of them on the table. Then we're okay. We're okay. But don't persecute one individual only. Demand accountability, openness from one individual only. That is what I think in principle we are not happy about. But if everybody is going to display who supported him or her for 2017 conference, that's okay. That's okay. I think we want that openness as ANC members. We want that openness, but for everyone, not selective morality. What we don't want is selective morality. Everybody should be put to the table, to the scrutiny. Everybody must come with his files. Who was sponsoring who? Who was sponsoring who before 2017? That's the point. That's the point.
And Omry, when you look at the events of yesterday, we saw that letter by former President Jacob Zuma, certainly a hard-hitting letter that is directed at, the current president of the ANC and the country, saying that he needs to take responsibility on his own. He cannot call the ANC accused number 1, and he also needs to prove that his companies were not doing business with the state while he was deputy president. What do you make of that letter?
I think that letter, it's a shameful letter in a sense that the person who wrote it is the person who actually led the ANC to this mess that we are in, So maybe he should be keeping out of office because he's no longer in office. He should be keeping quiet, relaxing in his farm or somewhere in Nkandla, leaving the ANC intact. He nearly destroyed it. So we don't really need much of his contribution at the moment. He's done more damage than anybody else since the ANC came into power. So I would say that letter really should not be taken seriously. Cyril Ramaphosa is our president, and everybody must respect him. And those who don't want to respect him, it's up to them. But according to ANC, he is our president, and he should be accorded all the respect, by everybody, including former presidents.
As a final question from me tonight, there has been a call by, two members of the party that we spoke to just a short while ago who are saying that the president of the ANC can no longer be appointed or even elected by 4,000 delegates. They want a change in this process, a bit more of an open process. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I've been campaigning for electoral reforms since 2012. I've been campaigning for that we must change the way we elect leaders inside the ANC and also in Parliament. I believe that inside the ANC we must have one member, one vote for electing ANC President, ANC Secretary General, or all ANC officials on the basis of one member, one vote, so that we don't have these money problems. Businesses, buying ANC delegates, the 2% that normally attends to hijack the ANC. So I'm for that reform. And in terms of Parliament, I believe we must elect members of Parliament directly as citizens. ANC leaders separate, but in Parliament, all citizens must have the right to elect their members of Parliament where they live. I believe where you live, you must have the right to elect your member of Parliament directly.